Hello, everyone. This is your Gaming Forever Week in Review podcast for, well, this is pretty much a catch-up. This is for all the news that happened during the week of May 24th, 2013. I'm, as always, Gamer Wolf. Today, we have 4 familiar faces and 1 new face.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Game Freak here.
Hi.
Don't be shy, dude. I mean, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, dude, I love gaming forever. This is a good opportunity here.
Yeah!
Come on, promote yourself. Pimp yourself out.
Yeah, give yourself out, dude. What makes you special? And do you like long walks on the beach?
Oh, what the?
Come on. It's gonna kill me over here.
Oh, God.
Alright, to put it secondly, my name is Kuhn. I've been a gamer since probably the early 90s. First system was the NES.
Nice. Good choice of steering system.
Yep, I've had just about every one of Nintendo's systems since then.
Oh, wow, same here.
And since probably mid-2000s, I've been starting to get into the core gaming offshoot with the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360.
Love the PS2.
Yep.
Yeah, why do you think it sold so many, it sold so many consoles, even
so far as
after
to call it
the
the best console ever made ever.
That's how you get people mad at you when they don't do that.
Pretty much. There were exactly 2 reasons why I got the PS2. The first was that I could play DVDs. The second was that it had a ginormous library.
Over 1,000
like
games.
that word.
Yeah, ginormous. Rolls off the tongue.
Guarantee there's a game for everyone on that system. Guarantee it.
Yep.
Well, who hasn't introduced themselves? Seth?
Yeah, Seth is back, finally.
Yeah, I'm
Long
finally
time no
around,
see.
even though I'm sick as crap right now.
Aww. Hope you feel better soon.
And I'm a fish rapist.
What the heck?
I don't know what that... I don't know. We'll just keep going with the show.
Yeah. Alright.
Beat that out.
Alright.
We're live. Wait.
No, as I said, we are going over last
Do it
week's
live.
stuff. Yeah,
Fuck it.
we're going over last week's
We're
stuff to
doing it
catch
live.
up due to, well, shit happened the past weekend, and unfortunately I tried to do it Memorial Day, but shit happened there too. Anyways, so last week, big thing that happened, Microsoft finally revealed the Xbox One. Yeah, Xbone. Xbox One. I'll save criticisms for later, since first of all, we want to go over some of the info that they gave out, such as specs and any kind of little improvements. First off with the specs, they showed off that the console will contain a 8-core CPU, 8GB system memory, 500GB hard disk drive. It will have a Blu-ray drive. There will be a 802.11n wireless receiver inside with Wi-Fi Direct. There will be an HDMI in and out port, and it will also have USB 3.0 to it. Then comes to the Kinect camera. The specs for this, they say that this is supposedly better, and the fact that it can read muscles and all that kind of stuff.
It's better with Kinect.
The base info we got is going to have a 1080p HD RGB camera. It'll be able to catch 30 frames per second color. It will have time of flight technology, and there will be microphone arrays inside it. And then lastly was the controller. Honestly, they didn't exactly do anything like severe. I mean, well, the controller was all right to begin with. They have done a integrated battery compartment, impulse triggers, Wi-Fi direct radio stack inside the controller, and a more precise directional pad, because Lord knows the Xbox 360's pad sucks. Unless you have that,
Microsoft one would still be horrible.
unless you actually have that shifting directional pad, which I still need to friggin' get.
Say what?
I should make note that the specs for this console almost don't matter at all, because
Yeah, true.
pretty much historically speaking, specs have never decided who won the console.
Yeah, that's
Console
true. It's
war.
always about
Never.
the games. It's
Always
always,
end up coming to the games.
yes.
Yep.
In strict terms,
And
of
also, I also think the controller is. Honestly, I don't know why I had to change the D-pad at all. Honestly.
yeah, in strict terms of specs on paper, the Xbox One isn't that bad. But it's some of the other things that have come to light
Yes.
since the reveal.
I should also note
We
that
will
this
get to
system-
those.
This system with the 8 gigabytes of RAM is doing it in the weird way the PS3 did, where it's saving 3 gigabytes for the operating system alone, and the other 5 gigabytes goes to any other processor that the console needs, be it games, movies, whatever.
Lovely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unlike the PS3, which has the 8 gigabytes, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Which means technically, when it comes to pure RAM space, the Xbox has less for the games themselves than the PS4 does.
Yes, and not only that, big criticism with the size of the hard drive. I mean, really, 500 gigs isn't that much nowadays.
It's big until you consider some of the other announcements that they have made about the system, which
Yes.
we need to get to so we can talk about them.
Yes. First off, though,
Also,
they made some
I
other...
sh-
Oh, go
I
ahead.
should note, the Kinect, which is coming with all the consoles, Microsoft, it's a gimmick. You can package it in with the console, but it's still a gimmick. Doesn't change that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Sure
I
that.
have heard that the Xbox won't even work without the Kinect.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
the problem.
we will get to that.
Oh yeah.
That is one of the nasty announcements. First, some of the other announcements they gave during the press
I love
conference.
how our praise of the specs basically just neutral stance at that point. We don't actually have anything to praise about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to praise about at all. In
First
fact, I
off,
want to spit it in its grave when it comes out.
yeah. Anyways, first off, the announcement that they added with the reveal of the console, Xbox One will have 15 exclusive titles in the first year of the console's release, and 8 of them are guaranteed to be new exclusives, and they will be full games, not Xbox Live Arcade games.
This actually is probably not as relevant as you think, because Microsoft has a nebulous use of the term exclusive as it is.
Yeah.
For example, they've announced that FIFA will have an exclusive mode for Xbox One's version of the game. So does that mean that technically counts as one of 15 quote exclusive titles?
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't actually clarify that.
The
point.
word exclusive can be twisted in so many ways nowadays.
So in
Today's-
theory, this is great, but I just don't know if the execution's there.
In today's market, exclusive can refer to a game, it can refer to DLC, it can refer to any number of things that can be considered add-ons.
Absolutely.
So it's really hard to say.
Yeah, and not to mention
Although
they
it's kind
also
of hard to fiddle with 8 new IPs, none of which are XBLA titles. That's pretty clear. I think that part is at least pretty clear.
yes. Not only that, it's also interesting to note that they did come out. Well, they did show off one of the new franchises from Remedy, the Quantum Break game, which looks just definitely messing with time again.
It was an interesting idea until I found they were playing as a 30-year-old white dude.
What?
I'm serious. Because I'm actually getting kind of sick of playing 30-year-old white dudes in games at this point.
Yeah, and also they have gone out to say that Rare is bringing back some past franchise for their system. And rumors, of course, is already spinning around that it's probably a new Killer Instinct.
Because when I first saw Quantum Break, I assumed you're playing as that 12-year-old little girl. I thought, that's a pretty interesting idea. But then, nope. 30-something white dude.
Yeah. God,
Because
that's a trope now. That's
Another
a
She
freaking
moves
30.
ships anytime she touches someone's ears. Oh my god!
trope.
Well, you know, with the nickname of Quantum Break, it's all this chaos theory nonsense where one butterfly can cause a tornado and shit
Yeah.
like that. You know it's going to be something like that anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly, at that point, there's better off hiring Jeff Goldblum to basically reprise his character from Jurassic Park.
Oh God.
Did anybody ever see that image of all the different 30-something white dudes in this console generation? It had like 25 tags different games. They were all 30-something white dudes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
let's move on to
Anyways,
the
moving
bad
on.
specs of the console.
Oh, next up, Microsoft also confirmed that the Xbox One will expand the Xbox Live friend list limit from 100 to 1,000. Why did you wait this fucking long? Just my quick opinion on that, because well, we want to keep going on this.
That's a thing, I guess. I don't really care.
Guess.
I've
never.
I never had the need to have 1,000 friends.
Did anyone
Yeah,
ever
that's
break
safe.
100 friends?
Actually,
on Xbox?
I hit 100 friends, and I got like several others trying to add me. And then I was like,
How
forced to,
many
like,
of them
drop
do you
people.
actually talk to?
Let alone play with.
Well, I had like several groups of game with and various
Yeah,
games like Gears of War or.
In my
Although
experience,
we're in an age where there really shouldn't be any arbitrary limits on this kind of crap. If we were being
Yeah.
perfectly honest, because it's just a list of names. It's not much data to process.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at Steam, there's I don't think there's really a limit now. I mean, it used to be
Programming,
250,
it would
but they broke that.
Programming-wise, it's just a list of pointers to other people's profiles. That's not a big deal. That's not
Yeah.
a whole lot of data to store. You probably
And I-
store them all within. You probably store like a couple thousand in like 10 megabytes.
Yeah. The last bit of news, well, slightly positive news. Xbox One games playable as they are installing. Yeah, kind of a jab towards
Which
Sony's
is
fuck
great
up with
since
the PS3.
they have to install them no matter what you do.
Yes, and that starts to bring us to the bad news.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
and it starts off
The
with
nails in the coffin.
as what Game Freak had mentioned, the Xbox One will not function without the Kinect. As we already know, that the Xbox One will be bundled with the Kinect, but IGN reported this surprisingly, that without the Kinect, the Xbox One will not work.
I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
Because
Because they
everyone
want-
needs to be able to sit on their couch and yell obscenity commands towards their TV at will.
Here's the worst
Yes.
part.
Or just wave their
Generally
hand in
speaking, it's
invisible
easier to
space
press a
looking
button
like,
than to use the voice command.
really,
Yeah.
I just want to see how many gamers in their demographic play naked.
Oh, we'll be getting to that. That's actually a concern.
This is honestly more like force feeding us the Kinect now. It's like,
Well, I mean,
no,
when
no,
you
you're
skip-
getting the Kinect, and you're gonna
Well, I
use
mean-
it. Damn it!
You don't understand
like
when you scan a Navy SEAL dog into a game, you want to use the Kinect to boss him around.
Oh god.
I thought there was
No, I don't. I use the D-pad. I point at the location and use the D-pad. That's what I would do.
guys.
I mean, Christ, that would be like Sony bundling a Vita with every single PS4 they sell just to shove the Vita down people's throats.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
Which, by the way, I found that the Vita is going to work on the PS4 too.
Well, yeah. That's
Well,
news for
play,
next.
But they're not
for
shoving it down your throat.
next time.
Yeah,
true.
it's
That's the
there if
good
you
thing.
want it, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the decent thing of Sony. Now, move
Yeah,
on.
it's an
You gotta
option.
move on.
It'd be
But
nice
yeah.
though if they bundle a PS4 with a coupon for a discount off of Vita or something like that. That would be a pretty nifty idea.
Yeah.
You know, if they do that, I would definitely buy a Vita then.
But
I still wouldn't rebuy a Vita.
no, yeah, me neither. Give me something that's actually worth playing on the damn thing.
Besides for the golden.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, there will be no power button to this, unlike the Xbox 360. You
This
can't
is
power it
so
on with the
interesting.
console either.
We're talking about Sony products.
Let's get back on 360.
Talking about
Let's get back
Sony.
on Xbox, people.
Yeah, and let's bring it on to the next one. This one is one of the heavy blows, and it sucks for several reasons. First off, the Xbox One will not be backwards compatible with either Xbox 360 games or previous Xbox Live Arcade titles.
Wait,
I I explained why the PS3 couldn't do this, or the PS4. I don't know why they couldn't do it with the Xbox.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier to
Yeah,
manage.
Sony gave an actual explanation as to why, because they didn't want to bring the cell processor crap over to the PS4.
Okay, well,
This,
I mean, another thing is,
no reason.
see,
It's
I can
basically
sort of
absurd.
understand not having, the 360 titles, but not allowing you to play Xbox Live titles, that like the arcade titles, that doesn't make any sense.
And that's the same thing with PlayStation 4 in the fact that your purchases won't transfer over to the new system. That was also a bizarre choice. I don't know why both consoles are doing that. I really have no idea.
Yep. But the big blow right here is one thing that they added. It will the Xbox One will have an anti-used games feature.
Yay!
Yeah. This effectively, if you have a used game, or if you even borrow a game from someone just to try out and see if you'd like it and purchase it, I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay a fee. And rumors going around that the fee could be as much as the full price of the game.
That's some great.
What?
It's hard to say because really a lot of what we know right now is just a bunch of rumors. Because Microsoft has not been clear at all when it comes to how they're going to go about this. It's
I mean, I
so
don't
nebulous. It's
That's
ridiculous.
Quick thing here, Dick Mexican. Yeah, I think Microsoft
That's
pretty
for
much
you, by the way.
squashed the attachment.
Well, guys, it all makes sense because when you want to watch a friend's VCR movie, you gotta pay a fee, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. If you rent a movie and there's like 4 people in the room, they can charge you for
Oh
each
yeah,
person
that's another freaking ugly thing.
because
I
the
do
Kinect
not
is
like.
always online. Or always on.
Wait, what?
The Kinect
Is
is
it-
always on.
Yeah,
I
rumors
know that, but what
rumors
about-
going around that the Kinect will also be able to tell how many people are in the room, and if you're watching, like, say, a movie or TV, it will actually charge you more to play said movie or TV
It
show.
says it's
because-
possible. They haven't confirmed whether or not.
Yeah,
they'll do
it's
it.
totally
Just
rumor,
To be perfectly
though.
fair to
It's totally
Microsoft.
rumor.
To be perfectly fair.
Okay, my eyes just went cross-eyed right there. In rage and
That would be a
stupidity.
lot more
Yeah,
awkward.
this is a total shot in the foot. No, this isn't just shooting yourself in the foot. It's blowing the whole goddamn foot off, and most of the leg, too.
No, this
Pretty
is
much.
something worse. This is worse. This is basically shooting yourself in the head with a howitzer cannon. Then what are they doing?
It's being caught masturbating in front of your parents,
And then finishing.
and it's
Oh,
In all my years as a gamer, I've seen a lot of
Oh my god.
Kuhn, I think you just went quiet there.
Yeah.
never seen anything.
Bring the mic closer.
Yeah, you may want to check your mic volume or bring yourself closer to your mic. Okay.
You mentioned something about the power button.
I don't quite remember that. Was
Oh
there?
yeah, they confirmed you can turn off the Xbox One.
Yeah, you can actually get. You don't have to use a low power state. You can actually just completely shut it down. But
Although I wouldn't trust them to keep it all.
wow,
off.
I don't quite remember that. I don't quite remember the anti-used games deal that was originally with the Xbox 360 that got dumped out 3 days after it came out.
As far as I'm aware, with the current used games policy, this is as far as I'm aware. I don't know if this is still the case, but from what I remember, the policy was that you'd only be able to return a used game at a store that has made an official deal with Microsoft to sell their used games.
Ah, okay.
But what happened is that they would take the game back, they would remove it from your account, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they sold that game back, Microsoft would charge them a small fee, and then the developer would get a portion of that fee as well.
that's kind of,
And the fee isn't as arbitrarily priced. Doesn't matter. They'll set the price as arbitrarily as they desire.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a shot.
So
But
that's what I have heard. I don't know if they have confirmed or denied this yet.
yeah, I believe that's also upcoming article will be bringing up. I think that's on there.
And again,
Where
I'm
they
trying to
they
be fair to
give-
Microsoft, making it very hard for me to do so.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is just plain ugly. I mean, especially again with the fact that we do understand why the PS4 isn't completely backwards compatible with PS3 discs. I mean, we
And
do know PS3 games will come out on like the PSN the PSN store.
And PS3 format software, I can see why they wouldn't be able to do that for the same exact reason, the architecture.
Yeah,
But I don't see why the PS2 and PS1 stuff can't be transferred over,
true
or
enough.
the minis.
Yeah,
Minis?
Yeah, Sony had these minis that work for the PS3 and the PSP. You can just download them, and they're like small little games.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
but yeah, again, there's just nothing that can really just gives any logic as to why they don't want to support both Xbox 360 games and Xbox Live Arcade titles that are coming out before the release of
And
the
perhaps
Xbox One.
I'm underestimating the architecture, but I don't think so, because it was pretty much a PC.
Yeah.
There was a rumor going around that Microsoft plans to put out an adapter that will allow the system.
Yeah,
to be
that's
backwards
what's been said. But as hearing about this, it kind of crushes it. I mean, yeah, it was rumored about that there would be a something along the lines of what we saw back during the
Echo.
advanced format
Yeah,
for
I
Video
think-
Wars.
I think
Echo.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
Echo.
There's God.
but yeah, the HD versus Blu-ray war. So it was thought of that something like the HD drive that came out for the 360 would possibly be done for the next generation Xbox, but with this,
Yeah.
it completely
Just
brings
Bunch
a
of
no
bizarre
to it.
decisions.
Yeah. Now, to bring up also the used games thing to further go on it. Microsoft made a statement saying that you will be able to trade your Xbox One games online.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't actually
Phil.
tell you how you're going to do that.
Yeah,
And
Phil
honestly-
Harrison gave a couple of details about the used game policy and explained that there will be a solution for people who want to trade games with their friends. How the system would work is when you buy an Xbox One game, you get a unique code that you enter when you install the game. You'll have to connect to the internet in order to
Because
authorize that
people love
code.
entering codes.
Yeah.
It's something that everyone loves doing when they get a game for the first time, is
man, I just-
open
I-
it and
Oh, yes.
punch in a
I
fucking
lo-
code.
I
that's
love entering my
fantastic.
codes.
And the
Oh,
code,
yes.
also the code can only be used once. Once you use it, that game will then be linked to your Xbox Live account. It sits on your hard drive. You have permission to play that game as long as you like. Other users on the same console, will be able to play that game as well. So you don't need to buy.
I love
multiple
that we
games
need
for family.
permission to play our own games that we've bought now.
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
This is,
I love that now they say, oh yeah, we give you permission to play the game you bought.
yeah.
I love that.
Now,
That's adorable.
Oh, God.
See, this is
First
gonna-
off, can I say
Yeah.
that this whole trading system, as convenient as it may sound, it also sounds really pointless and stupid.
yeah.
I mean,
and
I prefer just giving it.
what they
it's
act.
like,
Oh,
if,
go ahead.
If I had a friend over here, I'd say, "Hey, you want to borrow my game? Here you go." That's it.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
I
trading.
mean, like
anything.
we've been used to for the past 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But apparently Xbox thinks, nah, that's 2002. We're going to make you trade
Oh,
online.
come on, that is so 1987.
Yeah.
Lending
they're
games, that is
saying-
so 1985.
saying you'll be able to trade the code online for who knows what, though. And another thing that they Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson, actually did a little bit more clarification, saying that if you use your own account on your friend's console, you import it there, you can be able to play the game for free there. Yeah, I'm sorry, I do not. Even though they're my friends, I don't exactly trust my friends with my own profile.
I feel the same way. I don't trust
Likewise.
people with my online profile and information.
I'm sorry. In the age of where
Especially
trolling
my
is
fucking
the
passwords.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the age of where trolling is the thing, yeah, no way.
Yeah, the only person I would ever trust, I would have to trust them really well. Like, I have to know them in person.
I had to be monitoring them the entire time of playing the game.
Yeah.
Reason my profile.
Also-
I had to be in that room the entire time.
Yeah. Also, Gamer, if you gave me your account, I would definitely put the same face I would have on my face on your face.
Yeah, I figured as much.
That'll Gabe Newell.
Don't they still have their when you put in your credit card, doesn't that still stay with your account?
Oh,
Oh, that's also that's a very good question.
That's
a
That's even more
big one
damning.
right there.
yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think about that.
So,
That's even
so
more
sharing
damning.
accounts like that is a bad idea.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is why I believe you also talked about here, Enigma, is that according to a report by MCV, Microsoft and publishers will get a cut of the used sales, but it will be to retail. The retailers will have to agree to Microsoft's terms for the used game sales.
Basically, you do what I say, or you can't trade in my used games.
Exactly.
I actually spoke with a GameStop representative about the Xbox One, and I was told that they do not plan to support the system.
I'm not surprised. I mean,
Hallelujah!
I'm not surprised. GameStop is the used games king, if you will.
It's also the place where you do like all your game business for the most part. If you want a game, you go to GameStop for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah, if you don't.
So if they choose not to even have Xbox One products, Microsoft is screwed.
Oh,
That
they
is
are so butt fucked.
That is a major blow.
Pretty much the only places around here that would be able to go that's not GameStop would be Best Buy and Walmart.
Yes. When you go to,
They don't
when you
do
go to buy
trading
games, you go to fucking Walmart.
Wait,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned Target and how awesome they are.
Oh God, no.
Target, baby.
Target, fucking Target.
Tajay? What? Is that a new thing now?
It's a running gag with Target. Anyways,
look it up.
moving on.
Yes.
Microsoft further shot themselves in the foot with another little thing. It's apparently that indies will not be able to self-publish on the Xbox One.
This is what they did for the 360 as well, and it's the reason why Sony ended up taking control of the indie space and the console gaming.
Yeah, and speaking with the general manager of Redmond Game Studios and Platforms, Matt Booty, really? That's your name? Anyways,
Slap him.
Shack News was told that the publishing arrangements for Xbox One are no different than those for the Xbox 360, but in other words, indies will not be able to self-publish and must either strike a publishing deal with Microsoft or some other third party. The exact opposite of what Sony and Nintendo are doing.
Yeah, that's what's bizarre. Is look at what the other two are doing, and they're trying to make it easier for just all sorts of people to publish. And this is the exact opposite of doing that.
Yes, it's like
Because
Microsoft
you either
is
have
making
to
it
choose.
easier.
You
Microsoft's
have to
making it easier
find-
for other companies to win.
You have to find a major publisher or sign on with Microsoft in order to publish, basically.
Yeah.
One of the problems with the PlayStation 3 was that it was really difficult to develop for.
Yeah, that was the cell processor. They really messed up there.
Yeah.
I heard that Sony is actually pretty much bending over backwards trying to fix these problems by really opening up the development aspect of their console.
Yeah, and they
it's
made
much more like PC.
Yeah, they
And-
made a big step with how they're doing the PS4's architecture. I mean, it's pretty much almost exactly like a PC.
And they've also reduced the system which people can publish games on. They've made it easier on the publishers and the small timers.
Yep, they actually went out and asked for feedback from the indie developers as well as the AAA developers that I've been working with.
And the proof is in the pudding, really. When people, from what I've heard, people, when they do indie games with Sony, generally enjoy that experience. Whereas when you talk about what people think about Microsoft in the indie dev space, they hate them for the most part.
Yeah, not too much good things
Microsoft
are
is
said.
not well liked, except for maybe a few people that still have that, like the guy who made Dust, because wouldn't have been possible without the money that Microsoft gave him.
And Microsoft has helped some people, I guess, but a lot of their policies have really have not endeared themselves to the
Absolutely.
to the group as a whole.
Yeah, a lot of people are pissed off Microsoft. Like, remember, Phil Fish. I know I don't really care what your opinion of Phil Fish is. I don't really care about him either. But to patch Fez, you need to pay Microsoft $20,000.
Yeah. And another thing, I mean, again, just Microsoft's their system, their their confirmation system or whatever the hell it's called. Oh, the certification system. Oh, it's so ass backwards. I mean, I remember back when Castle Crashers first came out in the Xbox 360, and they just were like rattled with online issues, and it just took forever for that patch to come out so that the online would actually be stable, and it just sucked so much.
I will be as fair as I can to Microsoft and say, usually I think their deal is that the first patch is free. Everything else after that costs you money. So you have exactly one good.
From what I've heard.
Yeah, and that's what really just that is what has severely hurt some games like Team Fortress 2. Yeah.
That was actually the main issue with Fez, wasn't it? They couldn't afford the cost of the patch.
Because if you ask me, have you put down $20,000, there is no way in hell they're going to be able to put that money in there. Especially out of pocket. No way in hell.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Next little bit of bad news. Xbox One's 500 gigabyte hard drive will not be able to be replaced. Yeah, the hard drives will be non-user serviceable. However, on the slight bright side, you still will be able to use external hard drives.
This is compounded by the fact that all of the games are a mandatory install.
Yeah.
And given that the Blu-rays can hold 50 gigabytes of data, there's going to be a lot of data for any given game. Probably, since it's next gen, maybe be 15, 20 gigabytes of data for any one given game.
What you're failing to consider is how much of that data is going to be on the console and how much is going to be on the cloud. They're using cloud technology for their next gen system.
Yes, it's true, but
you can't really put install data on the cloud though, because it's install data. You still that would mean that you're basically then streaming it at that point, and that's not really the same thing.
But there's the point is that with the system being always online, there's...
Oh, good. Wait till we get to that.
Yeah, that's not very endearing.
Yeah, there's a lot
You were saying, though, Kuhn?
A lot of data that is not necessarily going to be on the hard drive.
Yes, but...
And here is my problem with that. If you're doing cloud computing, what is basically happening is you're transferring variables either to and from the Xbox and their servers, which basically means you installed a sort of DRM scheme on your game. So you either have to have the whole thing on the thing anyway, or you basically have another form of always online DRM.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real in between here.
Yep, and yeah, as I said, always online. Yeah, it brings us to this next little nasty bit. The Xbox One will need to go online eventually. The planned idea is that the Xbox One must go online once every 24 hours.
I can't even fathom the logic behind that. Because clearly it doesn't need to be always online. And at that point, if you're not always online, why be online and why mandate online in the first place?
Exactly. And another reason, what if your internet's out and you cannot connect for over 24 hours?
I hope it comes back.
What's going to happen to the consoles? They said that you're not going to be able to do certain things with the console. I mean, if you can't play any single player titles, there's going to be some major backlash.
Or there's also the case of those who don't even have subscriptions.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the middle of this country that don't even have internet connections.
Yeah.
Still.
I actually read a review done with a gaming magazine with the Sony president, and he said they were looking at studies on people being online, and he said they deliberately chose not to make their system always online because it would exclude them from too many markets.
That is a very good point.
That's the huge problem. Our infrastructure in the U.S. and in other countries is terrible for transmitting this kind of data.
There are still places that do not have any form of high-speed internet at all.
Yeah, there's still people on dial-up. and still more with no connection at all.
Yep.
Yeah, so it just
It's bizarre. It really is the most bizarre
it
thing.
ranks highly on the scale of stupidity. Honest, I mean, of stupid choices. I mean, really.
It's not even. It's not even sleazy. It's just stupid at this point. Like, you might as well do the always online or the never online. This middle is just going to piss everyone off.
I have a theory, actually.
Theory.
I think that Microsoft actually has two consoles. The one that they revealed is a test console that they're shipping out just to test the water on these sort of things. And once they get feedback at E3, I think they're planning to reveal what the actual console is going to be.
If they try and do
And to
that,
be
that would be
fair-
one of the biggest trolls ever.
I will be perfectly fair. This is basically a software issue, which means if need be, it can be patched out.
Yes.
Unlike the whole mandatory install thing, that's basically an architecture thing. I don't know if you can actually help that.
That's
Well, what
just
about
true.
the stupid pre-order thing, huh? Are they going to fix that if they find out that's not a good idea?
The pre-order thing?
Pre-order.
I mean,
No,
not pre-order. I mean
used
pre-owned.
games. You mean the used games? Yes.
Yes, I meant pre-owned games.
That's also that's also I think an issue with software. So if need be, they could probably patch that out.
Yeah. So
Till
some
then,
of
I'm
the
gonna
stuff
take a
could
shot.
possibly get changed, but
Anything that's not in the specs can likely be patched out if necessary. But given how much Microsoft's announced, getting everything that's a problem patched out will probably not work. And there's also the Kinect. That's not going to. You can't. There's no way they're going to be able to fix that. That's a hardware issue.
yeah, that is a total hardware thing.
They've built the hardware to require Kinect, and if it's just that's something that we have to just you're gonna have to suck it up if you want to buy an Xbox One.
Yeah. Now, Microsoft is already, with them having the announcement, they decided to, let their mouths run a bit more. And they've said that that they predict over 1 billion next-gen consoles will be sold of theirs.
I looked up how many 360s sold worldwide. The highest thing I could find, I don't even know if this is correct or not, is 400 million across the entire world.
And they hope to make 1 billion?
Yes.
Microsoft's
to be clear-
their strongest market.
No,
is-
okay. Granted. This is actually they've said that this is combined with Xbox One and PS4. However, we don't. I'm from the way it's looking, it's going to be less Xbox One and more PS4. But
Oh,
still,
yeah.
1 billion. That's a little way too high for the next gen already.
Just to clarify, 1 billion is around 1/6 to 1/7 of the entire world population. That's
See, the world
everyone in the
population-
entire world.
If I'm correct from Doctor Who, the world population is at least 6 billion.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 6 or 7 billion at this point.
Wow, a
But-
lot of those people need to disappear or something.
That is 1/6 to 1/7 of the entire world's population. That is phenomenal.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell they're going to push that many units.
What Microsoft is going by is they're pretty much using the past growth of the Xbox 360 of the console market in general to predict a jump to 1 billion sales. Yusuf
The
Mendy,
growth of a market in a failing economy. Congratulations, Microsoft.
yeah, Yusuf Mendy said every generation, as you probably heard, has grown approximately 30%. So this generation is about 300 million units. Most industry experts think the next generation will get upwards about 400 million units. If that's a game console, that's if it's a game console over the next decade. We think you can go broader than a game console. That's our aim, and you can go from 400 million to potentially upwards of 1 billion units. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think your TV crap that you've added to this thing is going to help you that much.
Nope.
I'm sorry. That was speaking of just
I don't know
quickly
if we're
touching on the
skipping
conference
ahead,
itself.
but
Yeah, fuck that conference. I'm sorry.
I don't know if
I
we're
almost
skipping
fell
ahead, but
asleep
I-
for that whole thing.
I need to talk about this. For the record, the Xbox One will only accept HD inputs. You have the standard TV, go fuck yourself, because Microsoft doesn't actually care.
Yeah.
So to say that they're going to have a multimedia device sell a lot of units is folly, because what they're marketing toward is such a small subset of people that I don't even know if they exist. Because you need someone who has enough money to buy an HD TV, but not enough to invest in a smart TV. You need someone who has knowledge of all the tech and wants all that technology, but not enough knowledge or wants to have dedicated systems already for it.
Taking a shot.
Yeah, I don't even think the whole the TV crap that they added to it and the whole the snap to screen or whatever the hell it's called. No.
You need a market that wants to Skype call in the middle of the TV shows, which I don't think anyone likes. I don't like someone, I'm watching TV or something online, and someone says, "Oh yay, Skype call."
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Nope. Next one. Microsoft's still running its mouth. Microsoft is saying that the Xbox One, all the reports about the used games and all that, all those reports are inaccurate and incomplete. Pretty much to quote.
While simultaneously not telling us why they're inaccurate or incomplete.
Yeah.
Inaccurate.
Microsoft, by the way of mouthpiece Major Nelson, has criticized reports on the Xbox One used game policy as inaccurate and incomplete, seeming to miss the fact that they're based entirely on Microsoft's own statements, which have themselves been inaccurate and far incomplete.
To paraphrase, that is basically them saying, "You're wrong, but I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong."
Yeah. Major Nelson said vaguely that Xbox One is designed to support the trade-in and resale of games. Reports about our policies for trade-in and resale are inaccurate and incomplete. We will disclose more information in the near future. Whose fault is that?
It's that guy's. It's that guy's fault.
Jeez, phone. Shut up. Really? I mean, you're really saying that everything's all incomplete in that when you yourself have not clarified a bit of anything.
I find it interesting that they themselves are not clarifying anything, especially since a lot of this information coming out is so damn...
Yeah, they're just pretty much tap dancing around the issue. They don't want to give a real answer. They just want to just tap dance around because they're probably scared of the reaction. Well, too late. The reaction's happened. You might as well just let the cat out of the bag and just let the bomb blow up.
What that tells me, that they're either afraid of the reaction or what the actual truth is worse than what we think it is.
Yeah.
Just like today's media.
And that scares the hell out of me. The fact that what they're actually hiding could possibly be worse than what we know, or at least suspect.
I honestly don't know how it could be worse, though. It's pretty bad currently.
Microsoft has found a way in the past. After all, it released Windows 8.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, this is the same company that released Windows 8 and Vista to the world. They are not immune to flaws.
Yeah, they've pretty much kept the track record of one OS is good, then the next is shit, then the next is good, then the next is shit, and so on and so forth.
360 was good, which means this one's probably going to end up being shit.
Yeah, but the Xbox was not that bad either.
It
just had a really slow start, a very slow start.
Honestly, my only issue with the original Xbox was the controller was too damn big.
The original controller was awful. That when they redesigned it, that was one of the good things that they did.
So is this going to mean that Microsoft's going to do a pattern of okay console, good console, bad console, okay console, good console?
I don't know.
Assuming they last that long. Assuming
assuming that this ever lasts at least one friggin' year.
And that's a big assumption because after this generation, they may very well have to pull out of the gaming market entirely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, also during that conference, Microsoft let loose.
Bill Gates will not be pleased.
No, they let loose a partnership with none other than the friggin' NFL. and that came out valued for over $400 million.
Oh, I'm going to fall asleep now.
Yeah, another one of this just dumb choices. Like, okay, really, you're trying to go after you're splitting yourself way too much.
Gamer.
You're not a bro. You don't understand.
I don't care. I mean,
this is clearly a console aimed for bros.
No, yeah, this is clearly a console that's aimed for a fucking man cave. But really, who has the money enough to afford something like that? Not that many.
Gamer buddy, the bros will find a way. The bros will always find a way to get the money. I mean, even if they have to take out, the third loan from their bank.
And seriously, you're going with the NFL. I mean, really? You're going with something that's probably just as kind of corrupt as you?
I mean, their strongest market at this point is America, so it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to appeal to a market that you already have a strong base in.
Exactly.
And NFL is popular in America, but it is basically only popular in America.
Mm-hmm.
What about NASCAR?
I mean,
Europe cares more about FIFA, likes of soccer, in the FIFA games, than they do the NFL or Madden.
Yeah, Europe only mainly cares about FIFA and Formula 1.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yep. Yeah, NASCAR is also a very American thing.
But seriously, I really, this is a total gamble for them, and I really feel like this is gonna blow up in their faces somehow. With already the missteps that they've taken with the console.
$400 million on a deal that really didn't need to be made. I don't see how they benefit from it.
Yeah. And last little bit here. Microsoft did respond to the Kinect Spying concerns. And
they
Microsoft...
deal with it.
No. Microsoft quickly said that they plan on... As we said, there will be a off switch. You can go into a menu and you can just completely shut down the console, and that's pretty much it. It will not run in that low power state.
By the way, are we going to talk about TV achievements eventually?
Oh God, that is next week. That's for this Sunday show, and oh my God, yeah, shit has not yet hit the fan, or not yet begun to hit the fan. I mean,
oh God, I can just. You completed one season.
Since we're not talking about it now, I'll just stop for now. But hold on to that idea because we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, the entire package, what it looks like to me, it appears that they're doing the same thing that Sony did with the PS3, which would
that is exactly correct.
Yeah, you can really see mirrors
being signed by people who are in corporate and have no idea what they're doing in regards to gaming.
$599 US.
Yep.
Keep in mind, since the Kinect is packaged with the new Xbox One, that's already plus $100 to whatever the price was going to be.
Yeah. But yes, long story short, shut down. You can still use voice commands to turn the dang thing on because Kinect's fucking mandatory. But yeah, it won't spy on you. If you were so worried about spying, just shut the whole thing down and just worry about the microphone.
This is worse than the PS3 conference. At least PSN was fucking free.
Yeah.
You're still paying $60 a year for this shit.
Box One, bro.
Yeah. Now, with all this,
none.
Now, with all this, already speculations going around if Microsoft will even attempt to market the Xbox One over in Japan.
With that NFL deal, why even bother?
Yeah, IGN spoke with Xbox corporate VP Phil Spencer and said that I think you'll see some announcements in the not-too-distant future that I think might delight people. To me, Heading Up Studios, it's always been a place where we find the most creative games in the market. You may have mentioned to basically Japan's game studios there. He continued saying that they know that Japan has a rich development community and something that they are spending a lot of time with and thinking about. The Japanese creators, having them creating content for their system and having that show up for the worldwide audience.
So they said a fat lot of nothing, really.
Yeah, again, tap dancing around the bush.
So what are they gonna like make a partner with like Vocaloid to, pretty much
They
mirror
didn't
their
actually
NFL deal?
say anything of substance.
Yeah, the only thing he gave as a response was, "We'll get into specific regions later."
The question was, are you going to do things with Japanese market? And they said, shrug, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, but again, when you take a look, Xbox 360 sales, the Xbox 360 didn't do that well in Japan. It wasn't that as great as a success as, in the American market.
Didn't do what it basically only did well in America for the most part.
Yeah.
Like in Europe and Japan, the PS3 had a much more solid foothold than the 360 ever had. It was basically an American-only product at that point.
Yep. So
Now,
yeah, it will remain to be seen if they'll even try Japan again after how not well the 360 did over there.
Japan is so insulary that I doubt it's even worth the time. Like, I'm not saying that to be as a knock on Microsoft. Like literally, I don't think Japanese culture would accept an American product,
I don't think it's
especially one as big as Microsoft.
Yeah.
I just don't think even if the Xbox One was a good console that they should even bother with Japan.
Yeah. Now, after the Xbox One reveal, 3 things happened. They're total surprises, really. Well, one kind of isn't a surprise. Because of the Xbox One reveal, Sony's shares surged on the stock market.
What?
Sony had their stocks rise while Microsoft's had their stocks fall.
I heard about that.
Shortly after.
Yeah, I
the
think it was like a
conferences.
20% increase.
Yeah,
in
I don't
Sony
know
stocks.
if any of you follow the indie gamer chick on Twitter, but she was talking. She's a
I don't
venture
use Twitter.
capitalist in real life, so she knows about stocks and trades and whatnot. And she said this is actually pretty normal when it comes to game consoles, because once you make a new console, you're going to lose profit off it. You almost always will. That's how all consoles besides Nintendo products have been. So having Microsoft lose stock shares as a result of a new console unveiling is perfectly normal. And Sony can also be explained by the fact that a lot of their divisions in that quarter did very, very well. Entertainment to a lesser extent, but they had a pretty good quarter during that period.
Yeah, at the time of when the story was written, Sony's stock jumped about 8.8% on the New York Stock Exchange to $22.82. The company also saw an 11% jump in share price following the PS4 announcement in February. Nintendo stock also jumped up about 2% as well from the Microsoft announcement. Now, however, there is some slight reasoning as to possibly why Sony's stock jumped after the announcement from Microsoft, and it said that that the company is looking to spin off its entertainment, including PlayStation division. So that could be attributed as to why it went up.
So
Honestly,
don't read too much into this. This
yeah, it's
could
basically
possibly be
the
completely
moves.
unrelated.
Basically, Sony's splitting off their entertainment and their electronic branches from each other. So that could be possibly another reason as to why Sony's stock took such a rise. However, there's no way. You can only just say that it probably was the 360, the Xbox
Oh, I'm
One.
sure it has some effect. I just don't think it's as big as people think it is.
Yeah, but you can also say the same. Well, you can say that the Xbox One probably did have an effect for the next result, which was Wii U sales took a drastic spike upward after the presentation. Amazon UK reported sales going upwards from to over like 386%.
Wow.
This should surprise absolutely nobody. Let me tell you why it shouldn't.
Why not?
Because this is the mark of a good consumer. Instead of saying, oh yeah, the Wii U is excellent, I'm going to buy it right away, they decided to wait to see what all the other consoles were doing at the time. So a lot of people, once they saw what the Xbox One was doing, like, okay, I have already made my decision. I've seen them all, and the Wii U for me is clearly the best option.
Yeah, on Amazon UK, it saw basically the Wii U went from ranked number 243 to number 50 in an instant.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a significant spike. Nintendo should be absolutely floored right now, but this should not be at least entirely unexpected.
Yeah, well, still, this is definitely good news for Nintendo. I mean, with Microsoft pretty much shooting themselves several times over and over again with what they're doing.
Dude, at this point, Microsoft just unloaded a whole Uzi clip into their foot.
No. You know those full automatic shotguns? That's what they just did right there.
It's like a shotgun loaded with mines.
No. It's one of those.
They loaded buckshot into 3 different shotguns and fired them all into their feet.
So yeah, if this trend keeps going, we're gonna probably be seeing just a 2-console race for this next generation.
I don't even consider Nintendo to be competing with Sony, if I'm perfectly honest.
And Microsoft will be out of feet to shoot.
I wouldn't put Nintendo out just yet. They still got games.
No.
I'm not saying they're doing. I'm not saying they're going to do poorly. I'm saying that they're not even going after the same market. Because when you buy a Nintendo console, you almost do it exclusively for Nintendo products. You're saying that I am willing to either supplement my existing library with this Wii U, or I'm willing to do it in lieu of all the other consoles. So they're not really the same market. People who buy Nintendo products will always buy Nintendo products. That's never going to change, probably for most people. By the time the Wii U came out, you already knew whether or not you want to buy it, well before they even announced it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure most of you have followed that pattern. I'm sure before they announced what the Wii U is going to be, you already knew if you were going to buy it or not.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But I was actually planning on buying the new Microsoft console before they revealed it. Now I probably will not. Mm-hmm. But there is one other console that's coming out. You're forgetting
about. And Nintendo made a few mistakes, nothing particularly egregious like Microsoft did.
Yeah.
Nothing that was so offensive that it physically nauseates people.
Absolutely. But I think this generation will ultimately come down to how Sony does against Steam.
True. I mean, yeah.
I don't even consider the PC the same market as the PS4, if I'm being perfectly honest, too. Because again, those are 2 different expectations. And I wrote about this in my first article for GF, which was the PC versus console debate. Because people go into those with different expectations. You go for the PC if you want modding and customization and the ability to play around with the games you own. Whereas you want a console if you want a quick, easy, install it, put it in, start playing instantly. Those are 2 different markets entirely. Well, they're related. And there's some interrelating between them, but in general, they're almost completely separate.
All right.
Just basically saying, I think Nintendo's doing its own thing, the PC's doing its own thing, and PS4 and the One are competing, and the One is losing badly.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying is happening this next generation.
One other event happened, which, kind of may come as a surprise, maybe not. It depends on how you see it. From the Xbox One reveal, GameStop stock took a drop. After the Xbox One reveal on Tuesday of last week, GameStop stock dropped about 19%, hitting a low of $30.94. Well, at one point hitting a low of $30.94 on Tuesday.
There's some noise in your end, Kuhn.
Yeah, your mic's acting up again there. But Kuhn.
Anyway, this GameStop story, especially after what they announced for the Xbox One, again should come as no surprise to anybody.
True. Yeah.
It's almost the expected result. Although they could easily turn around and, like we said before, just not even bother stocking Xbox One products.
Yep, and just stick with just two console manufacturers, and that's it.
Yeah, just stick with Nintendo and Sony, because those products are going to sell and they're not going to dick GameStop over. At least not as far as I know. There is still the possibility at E3 Sony could have smoke a crack pipe or something and go way off the rocker. That's always possible.
Yeah, it's always possible. So, I mean, that's...
I hope to God it's not the case, and it doesn't seem like it's likely, but it's always possible.
Yeah.
Again, fair shakes.
Now, moving away finally from the Xbox One reveal, going to a few little opinions. First up, coming from Peter Molyneux. The 22 Cans founder has said that Xbox 360 has won this generation, but now they must beat Apple.
I want to be honest. I don't even consider Peter Molyneux relevant anymore.
Yeah, to quote this article, yeah, he's definitely gone mental in a way. He said that 2013 has proven to be the year of the console hardware refresh. Although it's exciting, it's not nearly as exciting as when the Xbox 360 exploded onto the gaming scene just over 7 years ago. Back then, the 360 represented a huge leap forward in gaming, with a tangible increase in performance and fantastic multiplayer support. Gamers and game makers were justifiably super excited. Now it's that time again, but the world has changed. Tablet, mobile, PC, and smartphone makers are refreshing their hardware on what feels like almost a weekly basis, and on the horizon looms Valve with its PC-based Steam box. Thereby hangs the problem for Microsoft: how to justify its new console, how to get us all excited.
By not doing what they did during that conference.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he does make a valid point with the rise of the fucking smartphones, and not to mention
I don't
the
even think
resurgence
that's a
of the
big
PC.
deal.
But really, I really don't see
Because you
tablet.
can't have the same experience you do on a console on a mobile phone. It's just not going to
Yeah,
happen.
I don't see tablet and mobile gaming just really. It's still not at that point where it can actually compete with the console markets.
It's a significant market, do not get me wrong, but I don't know if it competes with the console market. I don't think it does.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah.
I think mobile is pretty much its own thing. A lot of people include it in gaming as a whole, but I don't think it competes with the consoles and the PCs.
Like, you could make an argument it competes with the 3DS and the PSP and whatnot, but
To a certain extent, I mean, pretty much mobile gaming is just good for those, pick up and quick plays. If you're like waiting at the doctor's office and you didn't bring your 3DS with
like
you,
if you're on break at work, you need to play a game of Sudoku real quick.
Yeah.
But they're pretty much saying here that the tablets are going to be the next consoles.
No.
That's
No,
not-
it really is not going to happen. It
No,
does
we're-
not have that much of like it doesn't
They
have
don't
that
support
solid
the
of a
Oculus
base.
Rift. They don't have Oculus Rift support. I'm not interested.
Not only that, also Molyneux completely discounts Sony and Nintendo with what he's saying, which is really, it's just why?
Yeah, after that conference, Sony and Nintendo are not the ones to be discounted out. I will. That's all I will say on that matter.
No, it's just really it makes you question, if Molyneux's just really. He's really so focused with Microsoft for all the time he spent with them that he's just gotten he's got total tunnel vision.
He probably still has friends over there, and he doesn't want to be mean to them. Like I'm sure people over Microsoft respect Molyneux, and the feeling is mutual on his side. That's probably why we got this announcement, as a way of like, okay, you have a lot of shitty press, I'll cover for you.
Yeah.
If I had friends over there, I would suggest to them to start looking for another job.
I would suggest they switch to Sony.
Absolutely.
See if Sony is hiring.
Yeah. Anyways, next opinion. Well, we'll call this little segment the two sides of Riccatello. John Riccatello gave a statement. Well, first, to Kotaku, sharing his thoughts of what Microsoft and Sony needed to do to succeed with their upcoming consoles. Said that the first and most obvious of these pitfalls is if Sony or Microsoft forgets who brought them to the dance in the first place. Gamers. I certainly see the temptation to empathize with all sorts of experiences that these boxes might bring to the living room. These new machines can do a lot. The risk is that either or both of the new platforms emphasize these value-add experiences too much, both in the user interface on the consoles themselves or in the story they tell consumers when they unleash their avalanche of advertising.
Or in Microsoft's case, all frickin' three.
Yeah.
There's this saying that I think applies to a lot. It applies to a lot of what's going on in gaming today. When you have someone who is considered a jack of all trades, it's they say that he's skilled in many things, but truly good at nothing.
Yeah, that's
Jack
very
of all
true.
trades, master of none.
Yeah. I think that applies very well to consoles when you keep adding other things to it.
Yeah, and with this, I do agree with Ricketel. I mean, this is what we're seeing. It's happened with the Xbox One reveal. People are totally turned. The gamers that were with the Xbox 360, like from day one or so, or they got in when Gears of War came out on there. They wanted to see games, and what did they see? Not that much.
Well, they
Microsoft
saw
spread them.
Call of Duty and FIFA. What more do you want?
Yeah, big whoop.
Are you saying you don't care about soccer?
I'm
You
sorry.
Care about some dog that's you form a dramatic relationship with?
Did you see the YouTube video where they show the clip of the guy saying we have innovative new fish AI that lets the fish swim away from you when you get close to them? Then they cut to Super Mario 64 from the 90s, and then they have Mario swimming towards the fish, and the fish move away from him.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But in all seriousness, yeah, Ricketel does make a good point. If you focus on the who got you there, the hardcore audience, the gamers themselves, you should be able to do well. If you spread yourself, if you spread yourself so thin that you're trying to appeal to the gamers, you're trying to appeal to those that want to have like easy switching with like TV and internet, and you want to appeal to the sports fans and all that. You're gonna spread yourself so thin, you're gonna appeal to nobody, and your console is going to flop.
It's the same thing happened with Assassin's Creed 3. If you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to no one.
Yay.
I actually like Assassin's Creed 3.
Me too.
I have a reputation
kinda.
to uphold for being very critical of that game.
he does.
No,
Now,
I agree with Ricketel on this. It's the other thought that
yes,
he lost me, if I
this
recall
is why I
correctly.
said this is the two sides of Ricketel. This is the smart side. This next part though shows off his dumb side, or should we say, really just friggin' dumb. Gamers will learn to love always on DRM.
No.
I wish
No.
I could bang my head against a fucking wall right now.
Okay, I wish I knew where this guy lives so I could find him and bash him in the balls with a rubber mallet. Like
To be
Super
fair,
Mario,
though, Ricketel
with
was-
Mario style. I'm going to do it Mario style.
To be fair, though, Ricketel at this point is a person with an opinion, like everyone else on the internet.
Yeah, to quote what he's told Kotaku, gamers will want and learn to love the good parts of consoles being more connected to our digital lives than was possible with the machines launched 8 years ago. Some gamers fear the new consoles could be more about a DRM walled garden than about enabling new types of connected gameplay.
I believe that was walled garden.
Oh, walled. Okay, walled. Sorry. More about squashing second sale used games than allowing us to play the games we own at our friends' houses or in dorms or at home without having to
new
bring,
sales.
yeah, without having to bring the disc with us. I don't believe consoles managed as walled gardens will succeed longer term. Yeah, he's basically. Yeah, in the same way EA claims SimCity required a persistent connection because it was an MMO, Ricketel is pretty much convincing us that we're not walking into a walled garden simply by not calling it a walled garden.
I get what he's saying, though. He's trying to say that we will come to accept always online. The kind of way we accept Steam is that they will have enough services that it will be considered worth the cost.
Yes,
I don't know if that's true for consoles. I don't think it is.
Yes, but here's the point, though. With Steam, you can go offline and still play stuff. You can still play single player
Always the case,
stuff.
remember. For a long time, it wasn't.
Yeah, for a long time it wasn't, but they fixed that, and now you can go offline. You can still play anything you want except for multiplayer stuff.
Actually, is it wrong for me to say right now that Steam could possibly count as a console at this point?
No.
That's still
incorrect.
PC.
That's incorrect.
Steam is just a content delivery platform.
I know, but honestly, I use it all the time. I use it more than my 360 now.
Well, yeah.
Oh, so do I. Well, I don't have 360, so I don't have to worry about that. But.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, again, it's
I'm just trying to make
the only thing you're
comments
really having to pay for is just your internet connection. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to pay any extra fee
Yeah.
just to go online.
All I'm saying is that
play.
I get what he is trying to say. I don't agree with what he's saying, but I get what he is trying to say. I'm trying to be fair to him as best I can.
Yeah, but yeah, at the same time, again, we gotta look back at the history of Always Online, and we see it's just been one disaster after another after another.
Yes.
Unless we see otherwise, there's gonna be nothing that'll convince anyone in their right mind that Always Online could be a good thing.
There's going to have to, for it to work, there's going to have to be either a major overhaul infrastructure and enough services to make it worthwhile. That includes stuff like cloud saves and whatnot. But
Yeah.
then you don't need to be always online, as evidenced by Steam. So I know what he's trying to say, that we are a connected culture and take advantage of that. I just don't think always online is a solution to that problem. Or
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah. And granted, Ricardell did show at least a little glimpse of intelligence in his madness, giving a total warning to Sony and Microsoft if they decide to actually go all on with a always online system from, of course, his experience thanks to the SimCity debacle.
Because you need to approach it in an entirely different way than you would a offline system, because it's not the same thing. It's not even close.
Yeah.
You need to approach an always online system with a different paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, on to the next story.
Yep. Now, speaking of EA, EA had to eat its words, as they actually do have Wii U games in development. The EA CFO, Blake Jorgensen, had to backpedal on his recent remarks about not saying that there are 0 games for the Wii U in development.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah, and there's also his statement also is at odds with the pair of remarks coming from company mouthpieces such as EA spokesman Jeff Brown, who also said that there are no games in development for the Wii U.
I'm going to abstain from the story because I don't honestly care.
No, the way I see it is, EA, yeah, they said something and then they kind of realized, oh, hey, we kind of talked faster than we thought.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those developers were discounting the Wii U.
Oh, yeah, it's because of the slow sales. I mean, once things pick up, we'll see, something happen.
We spoke of this on an earlier podcast.
Yes.
Either Nintendo makes games for their system, or nobody makes games for their system. Because you buy it pretty much from Nintendo products. And if there's no Nintendo products, you're not buying a Wii U. If you're not buying a Wii U, there's no point in selling games on the Wii U. And if there are Nintendo products on the Wii U, then you have to compete with Nintendo products on the Wii U. And why would you bother doing that? Because they're always so much better than the usual riffraff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is coming from Blake Jorgensen. This is not coming from Bob Summerwell, who, went on Twitter and decided to go public and say the Wii U was crap. Yeah, I'm guessing Blake Jorgensen knows what to say, and Jeff Brown and Bob Summerwell don't really know what to say. Yeah, but then again, we're talking about a spokesman and a software engineer and architect rather than a CFO. Also for EA, they also made a statement about what they saw from the PS4 and the Xbox One, saying that both of those systems are a generation ahead of gaming PCs.
That's stupid.
Yeah, to quote, the compute capabilities of these platforms and the data transfer speeds we can now bank on essentially removes any notion of rationing of systems' resources for our game engines. For a first-person shooter game like Battlefield 4, this means even more detailed gameplay, behavior, and awareness for characters, and more detailed appearance down to the lighting and clothing on the soldiers. So once again, we're going back to graphics, eh? Really? Really?
And the underlying premise is that the next-gen consoles are better than the high-end PCs. I don't even think that's true.
I don't
Like,
think
I
it's true
sincerely
either.
doubt that. That doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. It's illogical.
To
If
me,
it doesn't make sense, it's not true.
To me, the one thing that I think they could argue would be that PCs are generally, well, general purpose. They do all sorts of stuff. Consoles are more geared towards gaming, although that's not entirely,
Unless you're an Xbox One.
Yeah.
yeah, that's not entirely true nowadays. Since they've been adding more functions.
Yeah, and they also said that these next-gen platforms create dynamic living worlds, saying that your game could change overnight depending on actions by other gamers around the globe. Your player stats and information can be updated in real time with real-world player stats and injury reports.
Just like in a PC?
Yeah. This guy really didn't do his friggin' homework. Yeah, this is EA CTO Rajat Taneja, I think that's how you say his name. Yeah, he really did not do his homework in the fact that, oh hey, this PC max specs nowadays are this.
And even if the new consoles are better tech now, I guarantee you in 2 years they won't be.
Yeah, in 2 years,
Not even
the
2
PC
years.
will leave them in the dust again.
2 years is me being generous.
Your computer's a month old? Well, that's great. You could use a nice heavy paperweight.
So sad, but so true.
Yeah, definitely.
I can hear me.
Yeah,
in my
yeah, Kuhn, you're getting back noise again.
Take off the headphones again.
Yeah, there's that wind coming.
Anyways,
By any chance, Kuhn, do you work at NASA?
No.
anyways,
You're still wind tunneling? Maybe
Also-
not.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. Also, just a note, Seth had to take off, sadly, so, sorry to see him go, but glad to have him here for at least some of the podcast. As we move on towards a statement by the ex-GTA producer, Jeremy Pope, saying he will not be making another ultraviolet video game. He's happier making games that focus on player interaction. Speaking to games industry, Pope explained that it wasn't easy telling his family he was working on titles that were vilified in the mainstream media. I would visit my grandmother and have to explain what I do for a living. I didn't feel so great about explaining to them that I was part of that game they've been hearing about, Jeremy explained. I think that's what sort of planted the seeds of me wanting to work on different types of games. Pope founded Rally Games with the ambition of focusing more on players interacting with each other after leaving Rockstar.
I
That's a shame.
understand where he's coming from because there are a lot of violent games.
Mm-hmm.
Disproportionate to the amount of games that aren't violent. And I understand why that is. Because violence is easy to both program and to understand at a very basic level. You see a gun and shoot a dude, you know what's going on. There's no ambiguity there. Whereas in other non-violent interactions, there's a lot you have to worry about. Like even in a basic conversation that we're having now, there's a lot that's going into it that you can't simulate very well with technology that you compared to what you can with a gunfight.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think a good example of that would be the game Journey.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a very
Yeah.
game. It's
It's a good example.
There's a lot of nuance in Journey that you don't really realize unless you go and look for it.
Yeah, mostly everything that happens in the game is up to the interpretation of the player.
Whereas when you do something like a shooter, that's very simple. You just need to get some good cover, good level design, a little bit of hitbox texturing. You're done.
Yeah.
So simple. It's child's play compared to something that's not as violent.
Yeah. Also, I do kind of understand, how he would feel like talking to his family, his those
And
that
then
brought
really
him
to work
up.
for GTA,
Is the
work on
fact
GTA.
is the fact that he's the guy behind one of the one of the well, it gets a lot of
The
controversy.
poster
to
child
it.
for violent video
Yeah, the
games.
poster child
The one
for
that everyone
violent
goes
video
to.
games, and also some controversy too, such as the hot coffee incident.
So I can see how that would embarrass somebody. Like, what do you do for a living, Jimmy? I work on one of the most violent video games that you probably have heard of.
Yeah.
I work on that hooker beating simulator that you probably are somewhat aware of. I designed the jiggle physics.
Still though, yeah. Still, you know.
Although
It's
still
good
not
to
as bad
see-
working on
no.
extreme beach volleyball.
Oh God, no.
Oh.
But anyway, it's good to see this guy isn't left gaming, making games entirely. He's just he wants to change. He wants to put things into a different direction for himself.
And you know, all the power
Hopefully,
to him.
though.
I hope he
hopefully
works.
I hope he
I
does well
honestly-
too. Actually.
Yeah. Anyways, next up, a little short, add-in Nintendo. What?
I still hope GTA 5 is good.
Oh yeah.
It's
Anyways,
GTA. It's going to do well.
yeah.
Didn't I say GTA?
Yes.
I said GTA.
Yeah.
Okay, you just corrected me there. I was like confused.
No, it's Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto tends to sell well.
It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. It's going to do well.
Yeah. Anyways, quick little add-on here. Nintendo has revealed their start time and the day for when they'll be doing their first Nintendo Direct for E3. It will be done, actually, not when I was expecting. It won't be a day earlier. It will actually be on June 11th, but it will be at 7 a.m. That is pretty damn early.
Dang.
So yeah, you have to definitely get your alarm clock set if you want to catch the first Nintendo Direct of E3.
Are we going to do that? By the way.
Don't know. I mean, 7 a.m. I have to see.
Ooh.
Anyways,
I won't be catching
now,
it.
now, however, Nintendo isn't the only one that will be doing some sort of like a stream kind of thing. Square Enix will actually be doing a streaming thing for the entirety of E3 as well. They plan on streaming live, stream all their live events during
I'm going to
it.
take a shot here because you just said ScreenX.
No, Square Enix will be streaming all their live events. So every single reveal that they'll be showing off will be shown live via their official YouTube page.
Is Microsoft going to be streaming live as well?
This is planned to be also a worldwide live stream. So pretty sure some big news will be happening.
Square Enix should be revealing at this point is the games they're currently announced being finished.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Until Square Enix finishes at least half the roster that they're currently working on, I want them to not announce anything else. Except for IDOS games. Except for IDOS games.
Mm-hmm.
Good news, we finally finished the patch for Final Fantasy Online. Now we're gonna work on the next one.
Bad news. Versus 13 is still not being developed.
Yeah. Now, however, with this announcement also comes some bad news from Square Enix, and this comes from Square Enix of America.
Yeah.
Their president has officially quit the company. Mike Fisher, who has been the president of Square Enix of America since July of 2010, has left the company to become vice president of digital music and video for Amazon.co.jp. So pretty much the Japanese division of Amazon.com.
And that gets a huge old shrug from me.
Yeah, Fisher claims his departure was on good terms, though neither he or Square Enix have been willing to make further comment. Fisher's tenure included efforts to cut back on bigger productions from Square Enix of America. His reasoning being that of Square Enix of Japan and Europe, which, Square Enix of Japan and Europe, which include IOS Montreal, were already providing the AAA games the organization needed. His hope was that Square Enix of America could instead focus on smaller innovative titles like Quantum Conundrum, which was released last year. So yeah, it's a little bit sad. I mean, he's been there for like about
3 years.
a little bit under 3 years. But again, Square Enix of America really hasn't exactly had the best of times. I mean, the fact that they did have to cut back on bigger productions just to allow, pretty much just to give way to Japan and Europe to basically handle the big guns.
And then Europe had to give way to fucking Japan and the Final Fantasy series that's not doing as well as it used to.
Yeah.
And despite my enjoyment of 13 and 13.2, it deserves to not sell as well as it used to. It really does.
And this news actually came at the same time that Square Enix announced their live stream plans for during E3.
They had
So,
better
a bit of
have
a
some
downside.
They had better announce that they are finished with at least one of their projects.
Yep.
'Cause if they don't announce that at least 90% done with one project, I will be angry with them.
Mm-hmm.
I will be angry with them for wasting so much time and so much money on these projects that are never going to recoup all those losses.
Yep. All right. Next.
Versus 13 should not have taken this long to come out.
Yeah, true enough. Anyways,
It's been
next.
10 years? Or like, how long has it been since they announced
I
that
have
game?
no idea. I forget the
It's
number.
got to have been at least 5 years. At least 5 or 6.
Yeah. Anyways, moving away from that. Next up, due to a Kotaku article that that blew the downfall of Silicon Knights, the situation with Silicon Knights' downfall wide open. The article being called "What Went Wrong with Silicon Knights' X-Men Destiny" in it. Kotaku went over what they learned from sources close to Silicon Knights in regards to the working conditions and poor handling of development cycles. And this led into basically accusations toward Dennis Dyack and saying that the planned spiritual follow-up to Eternal Darkness, Shadow of the Eternals, might be just a total friggin' scam. And Dyack, personally, went up, he posted a personal response on YouTube responding to said article, claiming that the piece is not true, that it was linked so many times that it has become factual for many. Specifically, he alleges that he has intercepted emails from his own anonymous source that confirms that he had nothing to do with what went wrong with X-Men Destiny or the Silicon Knights downfall itself.
Not buying it. In part. I don't think he's trying to scam anybody. I think he legitimately wants to make another game. However, the last game they made before X-Men Destiny was too human. They were already on a downward spiral at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got both those games when I heard the company was going under. Haven't played them yet.
You tell me what you think of them, because I'm actually interested.
I will. I'll let you know.
But yeah, his basic his response was a response to basically show that he doesn't want the any kind of distrust to affect his next project.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have made shitty games for the past several years.
Yeah, it's
You
still.
can say what you want, but the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah, Dyack has had a troubled past, but to just, yeah, it's baggage. But at the same time, I don't think that baggage should really just affect it. I mean, especially since the precursor games hired Dyack. They wanted him for this, so they hired him onto the project. So I don't really believe that the baggage should be carried, from his past on Silicon Knights. I mean,
It doesn't matter whether we want it to or not. It's going to anyway.
Well, yeah, of course it's going to anyway. I just don't believe it really should affect. But that's the way public works. Still, I really do hope that it truly doesn't affect, and the project will get fully kickstarted.
It
And let's
probably
hope the
will
game
be.
is good.
People like Eternal Darkness. It's going to be kickstarted. I guarantee you that. Wait, how much is the Kickstarter for?
The Kickstarter, as of right now, let me take a look.
Like, what's the goal and how much? Or how
The
much
goal
are they?
is $1,350,000, and 18 days ago, there's
God.
only $118,773.
Why would you make $1 million?
Well, Star Citizen needed 2 million, and they now got 9 million right now.
Yeah.
Wait,
But that's because
X-Men
we know
Destiny-
Chris Roberts.
forgot. X-Men Destiny cost them $2 million out of their own pocket. That's ridiculous. I've seen gameplay of that game. There is no way you should have spent $2 million on that.
Seriously?
If you spent $2 million and got that out of it, you mismanaged a project.
Totally.
Okay. I didn't see the project at all. Sadly, I gotta look into this.
X-Men Destiny was just a total crap game. It was
with X-Men Destiny. A lot of that probably went to licensing.
Oh, X-Men Destiny! I remember that game now.
yeah.
Ooh.
But if you
Build
made
your
a
own
deal with
X-Men.
Activision, you shouldn't need to spend money on the license because they already have that license.
Mm-hmm.
So why does he need that much money then? I wonder, huh?
So
Does he
perplexed.
hope to buy like voice actors or something, like AAA star actors or anything?
Who knows?
I don't think the voice
Are we gonna
actors of that game were very well known at all.
Are we going to have Patrick Stewart as Patrick Stewart again?
Oh, God.
We're gonna have
Professor.
Patrick Stewart in for the first 20 minutes of the game. Then we're gonna kill him off, and then start doing a quest to save the Empire.
Exactly.
That's
Oh, God.
Oh, and then another game, we'll have Liam Neeson come in, and he'll last a little long. He'll last maybe about halfway through the game. We gotta kill him off too because that's a lot of lines, and he's a
Yeah.
very expensive actor.
Bethesda Studios. You win and fail at the same time, and yet you win all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think he's trying to scam, but I think his reputation will haunt him. And you think it shouldn't? I think it probably should.
I think it might. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's going to. I guarantee you, it's going to.
Well, if it does, then it's going to be a severe disappointment.
They'll probably
especially-
They'll probably end up getting the funding they need, but I do think they're not going to get as much as say Double Fine or In Exile might
Yeah.
for
Or
the same,
don't forget.
for the same project.
Don't forget Star Citizen. Do I have to keep reminding you people about Star Citizen? I've been doing this for like the past.
I know. Anyways, speaking of Elder Scrolls, actually, next up, fans are still saying that Skyrim is not yet done, and they want the rumored about Redguard DLC. Well, what was supposed to be, there was plans for a Redguard DLC, but they were officially canceled when the Bethesda finally said, we're done. We're done. Besides minor fixes and that, we're done. Unfortunately, when they announced that, though, some gamers took this to mean that the company would pretty much just basically there would be no more. There would be small minor updates.
But no more
There's-
Skyrim DLC.
Yeah.
There's a difference from being.
Oh no, I mean as in I'm saying this wrong. My tongue's getting tied a little bit. What I mean is when Bethesda announced that the DLC for Redguard would be canceled and there would be no more DLC, some gamers took this to mean the company would add new features in gameplay just for free. However, Heinz's blunt response was no. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't enough to quell those that really want the Redguard DLC after what Bethesda said would contain into it. They Christian, a user by the name of Beard Mage on Twitter, chimed in a list of reasons that Bethesda needed to have at least one more DLC to finish Skyrim once and for all. So that
Really?
he said that, but don't you feel that the story still isn't completed in its entirety? There is no closure to the civil conflict. The moot has yet to be had. The Thalmor still holds sway over Tamriel. Dragons yet still scorch Skyrim. Bethesda really has no intention of finishing that at all?
Well, fuck Skyrim. That's what.
No, they didn't. I guarantee Bethesda had no intention of finishing those plot lines. I've criticized the hell out of Skyrim. I love that game to death, but Bethesda cannot write.
Yeah.
Bethesda's writers, quite frankly, suck.
Yeah. More people tweeted that.
They are working on other games.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they are working. They are hard to work at their next game, but so other Twitter.
If you want conclusions to those arcs, I hate saying this, but if you're on the PC, just make a mod.
True.
If you
But,
don't want something done, you're going to do it yourself.
But to add on, some other users on Twitter, one going by Asgear_E, I think it's Enar, said that he asked, are there other stuff coming to the Bethesda store in the future that's not clothing related? He was referring to the, I think, the in-game store. And, oh no, wait, there's no in-game, no in-game store.
Yeah, let's say when does Skyrim have an in-game
No,
store?
I'm sorry. I got that wrong. It's basically Bethesda's
company's
online
official
store. And it said Hines responded with a yes, refusing to confirm that if there was possibly the items coming would hint towards whatever game that they were going to be making next, either Fallout 4 or some other game. But looking further back, there was a quite passionate interaction by a user on Twitter by the name of the Heavy Metal Lover, calling Hines out, saying, "Bullshit, you promised us more." Hines quickly replied, saying, "No, we didn't."
This is fans that have taken their enjoyment of Skyrim entirely too far.
Yeah,
I think that was Kuhn just breaking his computer.
and one more.
Actually, hang on. I want to add on something to the Bethesda thing. I want to talk about the game that they are actually making at the moment. Not sure if any of you guys have heard about this, but apparently Bethesda is just working on the next game, which is going to be called Evil Within, which is supposed to be a survival horror game.
Yeah, we've gone.
Yeah,
that was gone
discussed this in the
over.
podcast before.
Yeah, the guy behind it wants to make it true survival horror. He wants to bring
And
back
there's also
survival
the new
horror.
Wolfenstein game, if I recall, which is Bethesda's publishing.
Yeah.
Oh yes, right.
It's going to be an id Software developed.
Now, a couple other notes. Before we move on. User on Twitter by the name ManBearPig5901 made mention that then what is this Red Guard trademark? You can't just expect us to ignore that. This is about the fact that there is actual trademark by Bethesda for the name Red Guard. Hines explained that it's just a
things all the time.
Yeah, it's just a trademark, an existing trademark for a 1998 game. That is all.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls Red Guard.
Yeah, and then user by the name of Z16_M0V3R, hate leet speak, or using numbers for letters, said in response to Hines, "Liar, description clearly states it's game software for computer and console offered via the internet. That's DLC, not a 98 game." There's no response from Hines for that as of yet.
Guard. You can download it.
Yeah.
This is fans that are reading entirely too far into details.
This kind of shows, Skyrim has a bit of a rabid fan base, and they really want to just, they really just want the rumored Red Guard DLC, and it's just,
Like, I understand that they want more content, but let's be honest. If Bethesda wanted to, they'd have already announced new content by now.
That horror game. Quick minute. Dick Mexican. Yeah, the horror game with Shinji. It's still going. It's still being worked on.
If Bethesda didn't want to make new DLC, they'd make poor DLC. Because when developers make things they didn't want to do, it really does reflect on their quality.
Yeah,
that is true.
I'd rather them, if they didn't want to do it, not do it at all. I'd rather them just doing something to pump out for the fans.
That's a very good point there, honestly.
So if they're going to make it and just for the fans, it's going to be shitty. And that's not going to be Bethesda's fault. It's going to be the fault of they have no passion for that particular DLC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like asking them it's like the fans are asking them to make another cake for them. It's like, and Bethesda is just all worn out, so they make them a crappy cake.
True enough. All right, moving on. Next up, more clarification with the hopefully final clarification with the voices of Batman and the Joker in Arkham Origins. Contrary to what was reported to be that Kevin Conroy playing Batman yet again for Arkham Origins. Apparently, that is not true. The
Did we already go over that?
No, we did not.
We need to pick up the pace of these stories. So I'm really tired.
We're getting there. Last 2 weeks ago, it was apparently reported that Kevin Conroy was not completely out of Arkham Origins and that he was going to be voicing Batman. Apparently, that's not the case.
He was voicing the next Arkham game that's coming out, which is now unofficially officially announced.
Okay. So however, also the new voice actors have been announced, and Roger Craig Smith will be voicing Batman. As you know him, he is the voice of Ezio.
Sonic and Ezio.
Yeah, Sonic and Ezio. And Troy
Seriously?
Baker. Yep.
Yeah.
And Troy Baker, who's best known for his work as Booker in BioShock Infinite, will be voicing the Joker.
And Kanji Tatsumi in Persona 4.
Wait, who's going to be voicing the Joker?
Troy Baker, who's known.
He did what now?
Who's
In
best
Fallout?
known for the work.
Booker DeWitt, Kanji Tatsumi.
Kanji.
No, what?
Just
Booker
You
DeWitt,
lost
and he was the voice of Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite. The main
Never mind.
character.
Oh, yeah.
that could be interesting.
It took you that long to figure out who it was?
Because I was trying to listen to him and you overspoke me. That's why. Look, I don't have exactly perfect hearing, you know. I can't exactly hear over one voice over the other.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be.
Also, it's been a while since I played BioShock 2.
Yeah. So it will remain to be seen,
BioShock
how good these two will do it. I mean, rumor has it, Troy Baker does a very goddamn good psychotic laugh for the Joker, so he may be a
Troy
perfect
Baker is
fit.
an amazing VA.
I gotta hear him. Hear him, man.
He's
Yeah.
totally typecast, but he actually does a lot of different talents. He does for voice.
So yeah, hopefully, Roger will do well. It remains to be seen. I mean, he did pretty well as Ezio, and he does a damn good Sonic. I like his voice, how he does Sonic.
Slow.
Sonic in which game?
He
Oh,
first
6, I hope.
he first voiced Sonic in Sonic Colors.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, he replaced the voice actor that was in like the previous Sonic games, such as Sonic 06 and Sonic Unleashed,
no
and that
use.
who was the same voice voice actor from the Sonic X series.
Take
Ah.
this.
Jason Perfect, yeah, we all know.
So we'll have to see
Now we play
when that comes.
Now we play Game Grumps references.
Oh God. Okay. Couple other little quick. We got some quick stories here to round out the podcast here. First up, a little interesting thing was found out about Fire Emblem as a series itself. Fire Emblem Awakening could have been the last installment of the Fire Emblem franchise. However, due to how many units that were sold, which as of the reporting of this article was over the mark that they actually slated. They said that if Awakening sold under 250,000 copies, that would be the last game in the series. Awakening has sold way past that number. I believe in the I forget what was the U.S. amount. I think it was like 400,000 copies, and that's not counting digital downloads.
Well, the thing about Fire Emblem is that almost all of the games in that series were only in Japan.
True enough.
They're only just now bringing some of those games over to our shore.
Well, yeah. It was a slow trickle in. I mean, the first Fire Emblem that was released both stateside and over Japan was I think it was Path of Radiance on the GameCube.
No.
Yeah, because I know the other two were pretty much they were translated from the Japanese.
Next story.
Oh yeah, it's glad to see that Fire Emblem will live on. Excited to see what could be up next for the franchise. Next up, the Devolver Digital has announced that they are officially working on a reboot for PC and next gen consoles of Shadow Warrior, which was pretty much the Asian version, if you will, of Duke Nukem.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
first up, I
remember.
gotta mention one thing. The
I remember
Japanese.
Shadow Warrior.
Yeah.
That was the game with the crotchety old man.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lo Wang.
Yeah, now hang on.
Now,
They're making,
Devolver Digital is publishing the game. Flying Wild Hog, the studio behind Hard Reset, will be doing the development, and it's going to be also an entirely solo experience. There will be no multiplayer to this one either.
But you said this is like a Duke Nukem.
No. This was basically Duke Nukem, just Asian theme.
Okay, I have to mention.
Hail
Now,
to the king, baby.
okay, I want to mention one thing, that Japanese humor is off the wall crazy. Okay.
No. Don't get me wrong. There is no like crazy Japanese humor. No, this is still like kind of the American style humor. You got some raunchy shit in this. I mean, as of right now, I can tell you right now. Go onto Steam and search for Shadow Warrior on the store. You can get it for free right now and play the original version that was for DOS.
Okay, but I have to mention one thing. I have seen many strange things in Japan. I have seen a clown urinal that sings and dances when you pee in it. Okay.
You will not see
telling
this.
you.
No, we're talking ancient Japan here.
We need to move on.
Yeah, we're moving on, but yeah, we're talking ancient Japan. We're not talking futuristic
Okay.
Japan. We're talking ancient. You know,
Shadow Warrior
we're
said-
talking katanas. We're talking mystic arts, and we're talking about ripping hearts out of people's chests.
Okay. So it's more like Mortal Kombat. Okay.
Kinda.
What again?
Next up, what?
What was it called again?
Shadow Warrior.
Okay, I thought so.
Next up, a mysterious posting went up on Amazon 2 weeks last week, showing Mirror's Edge 2. Possibly an accidental release, or is it just a screw up on Amazon's part? We don't know.
I have pretty famously said by this point that the only thing EA could possibly interest me with is a sequel to Mirror's Edge. The ball is now in your court, EA. If you fuck this up, I am done with you. Forever.
Yeah, it will remain to be seen if this is just an accidental thing, or if EA is really going to do Mirror's Edge 2.
All the evidence is pointing to, because there's been more than one leak.
Oh yeah,
Hell,
we'll be getting to that. We'll be getting to that.
There were
Those are
leaked
the
on
leaks.
EA's own servers.
Yeah, we'll be definitely getting to those other leaks in this Sunday show.
Okay,
Next
but
up,
here's what I gotta ask though.
Mm.
Is it worth it though? I
Eh,
mean, like
Sequels generally always
do.
do better than their original games.
Yeah, but
I've heard
how
the
long has it been?
official-
How long has it been since the first game?
It rarely ever matters how long it's been.
well, Dick Mexican, they said next generation console, so but with EA also having a slight, bias against the Wii U, we don't know.
It will be an Xbox One exclusive and have Kinect support.
Oh, I pray to God, no. Then we'll all be done with EA. Anyways, next up. Mortal Kombat, it's fully official now. PC Edition is coming out this summer. Mortal Kombat Complete Edition, which will include every single bit of DLC that came out on the consoles in one complete package. So you will get access to Rain, Kenshi, Freddy Krueger, and also retro skins and old school fatalities from Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile.
Nice.
So yeah, this will come out. It's planned to be coming out digital release on July 3rd, and there will also be a retail release on August 6th. So good news for PC gamers that want the next Mortal Kombat to play, but they can't. They don't want to get it on console. I bet it's more than 10. I bet it's more than 10.
I know. I'm teasing.
I know. Next up. Also in game release announcements, Final Fantasy
XIV do we have?
2 to go. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, has officially been dated for August 27th of this year, and already they've revealed what you'll be able to get if you pre-order the game for either
How many
PC
people
or
actually care about
PS3.
this? Like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Some people actually care about 14.
I have no idea.
Anyways, containing in the pre-order purchase, there will be a collector's box designed by Yoshitaka Amano, 80-page art book of the art of Orzea. It's a hardcover art book. The Waning of the Sixth Sun, a special bonus video disc. Sounds of Orzea album. 5 collectible character art cards, a security token to secure user accounts, and some bonus items. Some bonus items in the games. They are the Helm of Light, the Baby Behemoth Minion, the Sorrel Meow. I don't know how you say it. I know the monster that they're talking about, but I can't pronounce that name. But
You mean Moogle?
No, the Coral Mount and the Behemoth Barding. Now, again, the game will be available on August 27, 2013. It's priced right now at $39.99 for the PS3 and $29.99 for the PC. The collector's edition will be priced at $79.99 and $69.99 respectively. So, if those of you want to try out the redone and totally revamped version of what should have been Final Fantasy XIV, there you go. And last but not least, the mech game Heavy Gear Assault finally gets a Kickstarter. Developer StompyBot Productions has launched a Kickstarter for the new mech game Heavy Gear Assault based on the popular Heavy Gear franchise. Their goal is $800,000 for this free-to-play multiplayer shooter, and only a PC version is planned of at this time.
I've never once heard of this game.
Never really heard of the Heavy Gear franchise?
Never once.
Yeah, it's a bit of a niche franchise in the the mech fighting genre. I mean the
Fighting, so.
I have played Armor Core from 2 to probably up to 5, and I've also really wanted to play Steel Battalion. But I've never heard of.
After the Kinect game, that Steel Battalion is a dead franchise.
yes.
Not that Steel Battalion. The one that had the big ass controller.
Yeah. Anyway,
Everyone wanted that one.
Well, here the thing is though, the Heavy
But
Gear.
I have not once heard of Heavy Gear. I'm very.
That's odd because the Heavy Gear video game series has been around since it launched alongside Geno, Mech Warrior, Omega Boost, and Armor Core, along with many others. They were basically one of these series that helped cement the mech genre in the 1990s.
I've never once even heard of this series.
So, I mean, I've heard of it. I played one of the games in the series. It's a pretty alright game. So I'm excited to see. I hope have more kind of like fresh takes on the whole mech franchise. I mean, we got Mech Warrior Online. We've got Hawken. I would not be opposed to having a free-to-play Heavy Gear game.
I found a website.
So it'd be nice.
The Badlands.
And well, unfortunately, Mech Assault. Well, the best you got is Mech Warrior, I guess. But for Zone of the Enders, you're gonna have to wait probably a long time since the sequel is officially in limbo because of Zone of the Enders 1 being buggy as hell on the PS3. And that pretty much wraps up all the stuff that's worth reporting for last week. Any final words, you guys?
No.
Nah.
I think we pretty much summed it up all with the Microsoft snafus.
All their many snafus.
Yeah, it remains to be seen if they'll be able to pull themselves out a little bit in their upcoming E3 press conference.
I bet you $10 they won't.
It depends on the games.
Dude, because of the
down to
pre-owned thing, dude. Because of the pre-owned charging that they're going to be doing, I don't think so.
I want to be honest. I don't know if the bros care.
One other thing. Dick Mexican. Coon, can you say Sony one more time for him? Coon?
Pardon?
Can you say Sony one more time for Dick Mexican? Apparently he likes how you say it.
He likes your accent.
I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Well, no, he wants you to say Sony one more time.
Say what?
Sony.
Just say the word Sony.
Sony?
There you go. Anyway, that's all for the catch-up. We will catch you in 2 days with this week's news. So, take care, everyone, and catch y'all later.
And good night.
Bye-bye. Also, I
Now
noticed
that's
that Punk
over. I
Penguin was
really
not
need to get
here.
to bed. See you guys.